Get the latest Zacks research, analysis, and rankings on exchange-traded funds in Exploring ETFs. Going to take a look at some ETFs now that are set to perform fairly well for 2014, at least in the opinion of Eric Dutram, our ETF strategist who joins me. So these are ETFs that are on your radar as we begin this new year. Is this like carryover momentum from 2013?
Well, two of the picks could be, at least hopefully, and then one of the picks we have coming up has been a pretty terrible performer, and hopefully the luck will turn around here.
Okay.
And it's actually very important to look at these kind of sectors because we see a huge difference. Obviously, last year the market was up almost 30% across broad indexes, but if you drill down into sectors, we see an even bigger difference. Some sectors only added, I think it was utilities, added about 7% last year, while healthcare added over 37%. So picking the right sector can have a huge difference on returns. And we saw this in even if you drill a little further down into more specialized sectors, and that's what we're going to kind of look at today.
All right, so you've got three here that you want to tell everyone about in three different sectors. Right. Let's start off with solar energy.
That's right. This is a really big winner from 2013. TAN is the fund we're looking at here. It's the Guggenheim Solar ETF. Some of the top holdings here are First Solar, Solar City, which is actually in my personal portfolio. And added over 111% on the year, and we're seeing actually very strong Zacks industry rank for the solar industry, and this actually has a Zacks ETF rank of buy, so it could see another good year in 2014. Although I probably wouldn't bet on another 100% gain here. We've seen a little bit of a pullback at the end of 2013, but once again, solar's kind of surging back to start the new year, and this is largely thanks to more efficient panels, and a lot of the weaker companies kind of got blown out a couple of years ago, so this is really the strongest left in the space. So could be another good year for solar, but I wouldn't bet on another amazing year.
Okay, not a banner year.
Exactly.
For solar, but it's not off of the table completely.
Right.
All right. It's interesting because you don't hear much about solar in the news, or you don't read much about it anymore like you did at one time.
Yeah, that's true. It's not as big, but actually it's actually performing better than when everyone was talking about it.
Okay. Then you've got the gold miners, right? Now they didn't have such a great 2013.
Yeah, they had a pretty terrible 2013, actually. Gold prices were down about 30% on the year, and since gold miners, they tend to trade as sort of a leveraged play on gold prices. The GDX, it's the Market Vectors Gold Mining ETF, lost over 50% in 2013. So obviously a pretty horrendous year, especially when you compare it to how well the broad markets were doing in the same time frame. The outlook in the near term isn't that great still for gold and gold mining, but I'm kind of hoping here that as we go further into 2014 and if we see a little bit more rockiness in the market, some investors will start to flow back into these gold mining stocks, and it might be a better year. And once again, I don't think it can be as extreme as it was last year, and I'm looking for a mild bull case as we get into the latter part of the year, but this is definitely a high volatility pick, and it could go either way.
That's a good point. All right, and then lastly, you've got the social media space. Some people call it trendy space. So everybody's not totally sold on the whole potential of social media at this point, but what are you seeing?
Well, in the first part of 2013, a lot of people agreed that, is this space kind of a fad? This ETF from Global X, the social media ETF, takes a broad look at global firms in the social media market. And it was pretty much flat through the first 4 or 5 months of the year. But then, kind of in the second part of the year, thanks to that Facebook solid earnings report and some other strong performances out of names like LinkedIn and some of the Chinese social media names, really took off. Ended up 2013 up over 50%, another great performance. The ETF has a Zacks ETF rank of 2 right now, or buy. But some of the top holdings have fallen back to a hold in terms of their Zacks rank, such as Twitter, Facebook. So I think we might see some solid gains here, but it's going to be a little dicey in the near term, especially if some of the bigger companies have a little trouble keeping up their revenue growth as we've seen in 2013. So I think more in line with the market this year for the social media space.
Okay, and as you said, you do own the one.
The Solar City, which is a top component in TAN. But beyond that, I don't own any of the
either of the others. Okay, well, thanks for that. And you can check out more interesting articles regarding ETFs and the ETF space on the ETF page of our website at Zacks.com. So if you're watching this video out in syndication land, get on over to our homepage. Link to that ETF page right off of the homepage, Zacks.com. With Eric, I'm Terry Ruffalo.